Hola, my name is Alejandra Diaz Mercado, and I am the author of the award-winning book, Energy in Motion, How to Unleash Your Mind and Take Action Now. And this is my nutrition crash course for you. I filmed this course because I believe this is knowledge that your generation, my generation, should have learned in school as part of the knowledge that forms a cohesive, holistic way of living a holistic human. But you and I have learned that that is not the case. And often you might look at information on the internet because there is a lot of that out there, and try to educate yourself and and improve your relationship with food, and you find that it's just confusing, frustrating, and upsetting. So over the past 11 years that I've worked in the personal training field with clients, coaching them not just how to understand the language of their own body, but also their relationship to the environment that surrounds them, whether that's people, emotions, food. I I realized that what I thought was common knowledge, common sense, wasn't the case. And I often would start inquiring as to, what my clients' nutrition was like, opening the conversation to see what choices they were making and why. And I realized that there was a big gap in the understanding of why they were making the choices they were making. So then I would take them into a small office at the facility I trained at, and I would give them a 10 to 20-minute chat, which is what I have prepared here for you. Again, I believe this is something we should have learned back in school. And nowadays, I know teaching has evolved. They're teaching younger generations how their relationship with money, their relationship with food. But again, unfortunately, you and I didn't have that. We're having to learn that right now, and it is all for the best. Let's begin. I'm going to share my screen with you right now, and I made this cute little presentation. There we go. All right, let's press play. Nutrition crash course by Alejandra Diaz Mercado, and there's my Instagram handle. I think it's the best way to find me on social media. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to draw for you what I call the pyramid of knowledge. And on the base of that pyramid, it is common knowledge to you and I. We all talk about calories, that the calories that you put in versus the calories that you put out, whatever hasn't been put out or used by your body by its normal bodily functions, then will get stored inside your body and will have you gain weight in the form of fat. So I am using the simplest terms that I know so that, this information can be relatable to you. Calories in versus calories out. If there is a balance, the body stays the same. If there's more calories intaken than output, you gain body weight in the form of fat, which is a form that the body has to store calories. All right. Now, eat them, calories in, calories out. Normal bodily functions could be from regulating temperature, from creating tissue, hair, renovating the cells that make up, different organs and more tissue inside your body. And that you don't necessarily have control over. It's just the part of the magic of your own body, how it regulates itself, how it keeps itself alive. What you have control over is your decision to move or not move. So how much exercise you do, and obviously the types of exercises. There are exercises that are tissue building, muscle building, that over time allow you to eat an average, I wouldn't say more than 300 calories a day, but this is over years of adding considerable muscle mass, which by the way is really hard unless there is the use of substances. let's leave it at that. And cardiovascular activity, which is, the most common way of known way of outputting calories. But there's also a limit to how much you can do, not just because of how much time you have in your life, but tissue, there could be some issues of overusing or not allowing proper adaptations. When you're frustrated and you want to lose the weight because something important is happening in like a month, we tend to overdo it. I've been guilty about that. All right. So based on this system of simplest terms, calories in, calories out, think about the diets that you have come across in the past in your life. Here are some examples: Jenny Craig, Dr. Bernstein, Weight Watchers, South Beach, Atkins, DASH diet. Just Google most popular diets. You're going to get a wide variety of them. A couple of examples I use here. Again, Jenny Craig, for example, it's a diet system that gained a reputation because it was pre-packaged. So you would receive it at home, ready to go, put it in the microwave, and the meals were balanced. They relied on a base number of calories that on average would get someone to lose weight. Let's refer specifically to women, female clients, because that's who I've worked with the most. Dr. Bernstein is ridiculously low caloric diet and therefore needs medical supervision. So it's, shots that where the person would go to the clinic every so often, exercise, more movement was not recommended, and they would get a shot of vitamins, minerals, nurturing stuff that the tissue needs. There is a system, there is a method. The issue I found over the years as a personal trainer encountering some people that made this choice was that they did it out of frustration. And on top of that, they wanted to exercise. And that over time can cause just imbalances in the body. The body does its magic, but if you push it too hard in one way, you'll end up paying the price later on in another way. So think about the options of diets that you've done in the past. Weight Watchers, I wanted to mention it. It's a great system. Some of my clients have used it very successfully, and it's a point system similar to the next level in the pyramid that you're going to see. Okay, that is the next level in the pyramid. Again, on top of the basic knowledge of calories in, calories out, if you go one level up, you will have your breakdown of macronutrients, what is called essential macronutrients, or so I've seen a debate in the internet that one of those in there is not essential. Don't you worry about that for the sake of this this discussion here. Let's keep it simple. Most of your food is going to break down in protein, fats, and carbs. And if you've done any type of logging in a program like MyFitnessPal, you'll see that program breaks it down in those 3 macronutrients, and it also gives you salt, sugar, and some other stuff. I don't quite remember, having swam in there for a while. So macros. All right. Okay, and so if we go deeper into, in this next level of the pyramid, there are diets that are popular right now, like paleo and keto. So ketogenic diet. Some people say the ketogenic diet is actually a paleo diet, but renamed. And what it is that it's protein based, mostly protein and fat, and it is very low on the daily percentage of carbs, which would come only from vegetables. All right. So again, you notice how even within the diets, there's going to be a breakdown of diets that specialize in one way or the other. Now, what are some ways to break down these 3 macronutrients here? You have on the left the mixed metabolism diet: 40% carb, 30% protein, 30% fat, which is more of most average of the population. It's around here, sometimes very imbalanced, but most of the population, no, you know what? I shouldn't even say that. It's the good entryway to start observing, a good introduction to start analyzing what your balance is. Then we have what is called a carb efficient type, which 70% of the diet would be carbs, 10% fat, 20% protein. Most vegan diets tend to fall, vegan vegetarian diets tend to fall, because of their nature, tend to fall within this system. And then on the right, you have the fat efficient diet. So 30% protein, 60% fat, very low in carb. What I'd say about this one, and yeah, no, this one especially, is that in the societies we live in today, they're so carb based that it takes a lot of mindfulness, preparation, and awareness and knowledge to do 10% carbohydrates efficiently. Actually, this would be similar to paleo or ketogenic diet. What is right for me? You might be asking yourself that question, as I have often asked myself in the past. The best advice I can give you is, first, get to know what the macronutrients are, get to know the foods that you're consuming, in what balance they are being consumed, and start listening. Learn to listen to your body for clues. We'll talk a little bit about detoxification, just touching base on it. By no means I'm an expert on that, but if you start weaning out all that junk food and processed food, you're going to start noticing your body communicates with you. And within this, if you want to start with a good introduction and then you want to play with the balance of these, I would say if you make a choice, do it for a full month in full commitment and log what your body is telling you. And if that didn't quite work out, start transitioning to the other version. All right. Now, on top of the pyramid, we have supplementation. And I'm going to tell you why there's beliefs out there of some people that believe it's not important, that by eating healthy, nurturing food that comes from the earth, that's enough. And there's other people that are all up for supplementation because it will definitely bring you a better quality of life. Let's talk about why that happens. And I gather that, here we have an apple of 3 generations ago, maybe an apple that your grandma would have eaten, is in her years as a young adult or as a teenager, as a child, would be equivalent to us in this day and age eating 5 apples. It doesn't matter how shiny they are, how big they are, how small they are. The truth is that the way we are treating our planet collectively has started to deplete it from its nutrients, and the way we have treated food, the pesticides and other mass production ways, bringing it from one country to another. Truth is that the impact is that our food is not what it used to be before. And so in my experience, I take vitamins, and I highly recommend that you attend to or have a conversation with a specialist in your network that you trust, that you look up to, for them to guide you on what the perfect supplementation would look like for you. All right. Now, okay, the other problem is the combination, the creation of these delicious foods, but they are not, they're delicious, but they bypass, they destroy, they confuse the natural ways that your body has to get to know what the communication system is within you. So here, these foods work. Think about it. These foods, and I have a protein bar down there because even though it's synthesized protein and it's a better choice or a good option if you're running late and you didn't have the time to prepare your salad or grab a healthy sandwich, this is less evil than some other choices. It's a good choice instead of skipping a meal and then binging later at night, but it was still created in the lab. And I want to share with you that the perfect combination of salt, sugar, and fat in a laboratory, because there's people who dedicate their jobs to create just the most delicious food for human consumption. This uh, presses and plays with the triggers in your brain, in your gut. The stomach is now called the second brain, and it creates endorphins and other happy hormones and addictive hormones. And not just that, the way this food is constructed, it starts affecting your taste buds. So it will take away from your ability to connect with the food that is provided from nature, from your ability to enjoy it and to acknowledge it. Because here, this food over there is like a drug. Chips, candy, chocolate. Anyways, all right, let's continue. Again, here, big sign of danger. And let's go back for a second. I am not saying do not eat it. I believe we live in an exciting, very exciting time as human beings. If you think about it, this small period of time, 80, 100 years that you're here, between the infinity that came before and the infinity that is going to come after you in this time, when it comes to music, to medicine, to food, to technology, we live truly in a very exciting time. So I am not saying do not eat that ever. I'm just saying be mindful of your choices, be cautious, be knowledgeable where these products are coming from, and even what the companies stand for, because that can get a little tricky. And do it responsibly. All right. So again, based on my experience over the past 11 years and honoring the area that I coach people in, this is where I teach you how to observe your choices and make better educated choices, not just for you, but for those you love, for your family, for your kids, for your spouse. Okay. Now, I want to show you this important piece of information, and it relates to logging on a program like MyFitnessPal. Not all grams are created equal. You have here in numbers 1 gram of carbs, 1 gram of protein, 1 gram of fat, 1 gram of alcohol. Did you think you could get away with drinking and not paying some price? Well, let's see what this is all about. You think it's alcohol, like it burns calories, right? Like it burns when you drink it, so it should burn calories. Wouldn't that be nice? All right. So 1 gram of carbs equals 4 calories. 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. 1 gram of fat equals 9. 1 gram of alcohol equals 7. Right there, you realize that 1 gram of these does not equal in calories. You could say, well, protein and carbs are equal, yet the protein has been popularized because when it is processed by the body, it needs a temperature increase within your system in order to process it, which is bigger or more compared to the carbs, but not considerably. Not like if you just eat protein, you could lose weight. Now, let's travel down here. Fats, 9 calories. And this is why, for example, you wouldn't want to sit and watch a movie and eat a bowl of nuts or nut mixes. Popcorn would be way less in calorie, like a big bowl of popcorn. It depends on the popcorn, but there are some smarter choices that a bowl is about 100 calories, as where, a 2 handful of nuts, you are well close to 1,000 calories. So watch out for that. Fat is packed with calories. And, back in the, yes, when, arguably we used to be hunters and gatherers. That's why fat was really sought after, fat and protein. Okay, and now let's move on to alcohol, 7 calories. So every gram equivalent in liquid of alcohol that you consume, it's 7 calories, so it's a lot more than carbs and protein. And, you know, when people say I'd rather drink my calories than eat them, or I'd rather eat them than drink them, it's because they're aware of this. The problem with this is that it's not just the 7 calories that you are consuming per gram per liquid measure, but that because your liver is in charge of processing the toxins that you bring into your body, alcohol, and not just the toxins, it also has a function in processing carbs and proteins and fats. Alcohol creates a traffic jam inside of it. So up to 3 days, possibly a bit more, there'll be a traffic jam, a conflict of interest when it's trying to process these calories. If they're not processed properly, they get stuck in the body, so they double up. And there's also inflammation within your body. So inflammation can be on organ, on joints, on tissue, water retention, on brain. So again, just be mindful of that information. Okay, so here are some recommended dailies. I just, you know, you can Google this up. It's information that it's out there. And for women, it's between 1,600 calories to 2,400, and men 2,000 to 3,000. The average diet for women, it's 1,200 calories. For men, somewhere between 18 and give or take, no, not take, give 300 to 500 calories more. All right. And again, a good program like MyFitnessPal, if you log in your consumption for the day, you'll see where you fall within this category. It's a big number though. Let's talk about why. So to maintain body weight, here is a quick mathematical equation. You will multiply the number 18 plus your body weight in pounds, and that would give you the number of calories in theory that you could consume a day without gaining or losing weight. So let's say that ideal body weight is 140. I blocked here, it says times 18. It comes to 2,520 calories. I'm talking about an ideal body weight or an estimate goal for women. Why can't you eat that without gaining weight? Well, first of all, there is the choice of food. Again, we are faced with big, confusing choices in this day and age. My recommendation, well, the first consideration to be aware of is that no matter how smart humans have become, we cannot beat Mother Nature. Our bodies, evolutionary speaking, Mother Nature has been taking care of them. The earth has been taking care of them. And we are so interconnected. How can we think that with 50 or 100 years of experience in genetically modifying and constructing food in labs, we could bypass the genetic code that we have? So first of all, there's that, the amount of processed foods, the ground they're growing on, the extra substances added to them to make it look shiny and pretty, like fruit, for example, and other considerations. We can start opening conversations about ethical considerations, the ethics of the planet, the ethics of the animal. So again, truly very confusing times. Now, let's say you were making all the perfect choices and eating this. Well, if you haven't been doing so for the past 10 years, then your body is also going to go through a process of adaptation or healing. And it's not just physical, it could be emotional, mental, in many other ways. All right. Yes. And remember those sad, bad apples. Maybe 3 generations ago, you and I could have eaten. I know I certainly cannot. If you want to know my numbers, I am usually between 1,200 and 1,500 a day. That's very low. Maybe 3 generations ago, I could have eaten that amount and be in optimum health, right? But right now, that's not the case. Remember those sad apples. 5 apples bring 5 times the calories, but you require 5 to get the same amount of nutrients your grandma, my grandma used to get, when she was a kid. So important to realize that. Now, where are all these numbers coming from? Well, if 18 calories, this shouldn't, yes, it is 18 calories. 18 times 1 would be the number to estimate your, what you would eat to not gain or lose weight. The minimum number you would do that is times 10. And some diets that start slowly decreasing calories do this equation times 16 times 14 times 12 times 10. And what I want to show you about, if you remember, that most diets for women or quick fix diets as well, aggressive diets, or the ones that you feel like you're dying when you take them are 1200 calories. It's because the average 20-year-old wants to weigh 125 pounds. Maybe you at that age were around that weight, give or take. And again, we're talking about the average 20-year-old whose ideal weight would be this. And if you multiply the minimum number of the equation 10 times that, it would be around 12. This number should be 5 in here. But you see where this number is coming from is an ideal of what a female body wants to look like. All right. So 1200 calories. Do I recommend that? I do not recommend that. Not ever. If you want to go on that low calorie intake for 2 weeks, because you have an important trip, a celebration, a party, a dress you want to get into, well, give it a try. You're not in risk of messing anything up because your body's incredibly smart. And if you're not feeling well, it will tell you. And but I want to ask you, are we looking at a quick fix again? How often have you done that in the past? Is this who you want to be now? Who do you want to be moving forward? I certainly, for myself, can tighten up for a couple of weeks, but I don't want to be perpetuating this behavior of quick fixes. All right. Daily recommended. So again, if you're looking for a good number to start, let's look at what the daily recommended for women is in their diets. And you might want to simply start in and around this number, or log into my MyFitnessPal, figure out what you're consuming, figure it out for a week, and then from there, lower your calories by 200 and be kind to yourself. Learn to listen to your body. Also, nature knows best. Start, if you can, quit cold turkey, all of the processed food, all of the junk food, and improve your choices, then I am in awe of you and I highly encourage you to do it. But if you can't, start with one meal. For example, your breakfast. If that is the most important meal in the day for you, that sets you up for your success, start by building what would be your perfect breakfast. Not just that it would nurture your body, give you energy, healthy, 100% healthy choices, but also that it would make you excited. So start building that relationship, that connection with your food. All right. Now I want to take you to MyFitnessPal and give you a couple more tips and a couple more things that need to be clarified for you so that you feel comfortable in your own journey of understanding your relationship with food. Again, I'm going to share my screen. Here in MyFitnessPal, I am on the main tab. I'm going to go to food. Now, when I say 120 grams of protein, I do not mean 120 grams of chicken breast. Let me show you why. Let's say here, add food, chicken breast. Okay, So I'm going to look for an option that weighs it in grams. Although if you put here in the arrow, it's going to give you the option as well of selecting your preferred way to measure. So pounds, and I'm gonna put 120. No, yes. Add to food diary. Okay. Oh no, that wasn't the right amount. But you know what you can do? You can click in here, and so if I want 1 grams, not pounds, right? And then press save. That's the error. There you go. Now you see how 120 grams of chicken breast equals 16 grams of protein, 1 gram of fat. Now let's just, again, for the sake of learning the language and the comparisons here, let's put chicken thighs. Search. Okay, serving chicken thighs. Let's see. Chicken thighs. This one might have the option I want to look for. If you can, this program gives you the option of looking at the brands that you use. People keep uploading and improving the system, so it'll give you a better estimate of what you're consuming. And most of the products that you can purchase in, fast food food products and companies that are well branded are going to have their products in here, which is you can even scan. I believe you can even scan the codes, so the barcodes, and get this uploaded into your FitnessPal. Now see the difference. We're talking about chicken thighs. Chicken thighs contain a lot more fat. Remember this number, grams of fat, you would multiply times 9, and plus the calories in your protein, the grams multiplied times 4, and it gives you the total calories. So here is a good consideration to draw back information for your choice. Remember those circles, those pie slices, where you either are in a balanced combination of the macronutrients, or you are reducing your carbs or increasing your fats. Well, here is where these choices make a difference. I have to say that there is a minimum recommended of consumption of fat for women. We have been led to believe that fat makes you fat and it is not good for you. And there was, a big uproar of products in the 90s. Fat-free products were all the hype. But truth is that we need a certain amount of fat consumption, which is about 55 grams a day, in order, give or take. Again, I'm not giving you information. I highly encourage you to check with nutrition professionals, which I am not. What I'm doing is guiding you to look at your choices and understanding the information that is out there. So the function, especially for women, of fat in our tissue, it's regulating our female body, regulating the hormones, regulating periods, creating tissue that looks nice and glowy. So do not restrict yourself of some of the good things that are meant to just interact with our bodies. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you here. All right. Now, there are 3 books that changed the way I see food and other things. Salt, sugar, and fat just made me really upset, because it opened up my eyes to the degree of control that food and food companies have on people. And I know I had a very dark period on my life, dark period of time in my life, where I was severely addicted to food, and I was unconscious about the reasons why. This book opened my eyes. In this book, it talks about evolutionary speaking, how our taste buds and our genetic code works, just craving these 3 these three flavors and how these have been used in laboratories in combination with incredible marketing strategies that reprogram the subconscious mind and have us very confused as to what our relationship with food should look like. So highly recommended. This book, Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers, the author Robert M. Sapolsky. This book opened up my eyes to how poisonous, how destructive is stress. And paired with the wrong types of food, you're just headed for disaster. Now, very, very interesting book again, because even just 20 years ago, you and I are exposed to at least 10 times more distress that someone would have been exposed or dealing with 10 years ago. I would say a lot more. So it is very important to bring conscious awareness to that and learn to manage, learn how to say no, put boundaries. There are a lot of things online that take away attention, energy, emotions that are trespassing on personal boundaries that have to do with health. So be aware of that, both for you and your loved ones. And lastly, this book, Hooked by Nir Eyal, in very similar manner that this awoke me to observing my food choices, this book awoke me to observing my choices on how I spend my time online and who I listen to. Very interesting books. Those are the ones that I recommend the most. All right, and to wrap this up, I have a recommendation. If you are using MyFitnessPal to log your calories and discover who you are and who you have been and how you want to change moving forward, I recommend you can try logging it for a week. You might find that it gets tiring and frustrating and it eats up away time. Again, time that you could be spending doing other more nurturing things, being present with your family. So why would you be logging in all the time? My recommendation is that you think of what your perfect self would do, what your ideal diet that would get you to look the way you crave to look and feel energetically. What would that look like? What choices would you make? Then going to MyFitnessPal, create one day of your perfect day, create a different day of your perfect day, and then create maybe one where you allow yourself a treat meal. And so then you can just print those sheets, put them in your fridge, and use them as your own meal plans. How about that? Give it a go. You can tell me how it goes. That's how I've done it. It's very easy for me to just look at the fridge and know what I'm going to eat and know how many calories and that. And then using a kitchen scale to measure your food. Because over time, I bet you, this was my case, my perception in the plate had gotten distorted to the point that I was eating the same amount as my husband. So I'm about 5'3", and weigh 130 pounds on average. That's where I sit. And I was sitting and eating a plate the size of what my husband, who is almost 6 feet tall, would be eating. Can you imagine? So portions get distorted over time. The food scale allows you to visually reconnect with what a portion should look like ideally for you. Again, lots of information on what a good portion of fish, chicken, tofu, tempeh would look like for you as a woman on your average, on your height, on your weight goal. So do your own research, check a couple sources of information, make the right choice for you, and put it to test. Listen to your body. And lastly, if you find it hard and overwhelming to make a big change and it takes time and you do not feel motivated, start with one meal. Pick a meal that you know will make a difference emotionally, mentally, energetically in your day. Pick that one meal. Go from Monday to Friday. We're so trained to think of a week as a work week. Make the meal part of your work week and see how you feel with that. And then log your changes. Take some form of measurement, not to make you upset. I know that women, generally speaking, are attached emotionally to the numbers. Again, sadly, we've been programmed subconsciously to behave in that manner instead of acknowledging and loving the magic that your body is. So, my recommendation for you to take measurements solely relies on the fact that if you're going to put the effort for 2 weeks, the commitment, you definitely want to make sure that what you're doing is working. And if it's not, then let's cut the crap. Let's revisit the plan. Let's reach out and seek help, support, personal trainer, nutritionist, to change the way you and I view the world, the way we approach our food in a more conscious level, in a more elevated consciousness as human beings that we are, that you and I have the potential to be. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed this, my crash course on nutrition, and I'd love to hear your feedback. So leave me your comments, share this with your loved ones, with your network, if you found it useful, and especially if they have asked for help. And again, I'm Alejandra Diaz Mercado, author of the award-winning book Energy in Motion: How to Unleash Your Mind, Take Action Now. And this was my nutrition crash course, helping you become more aware of what you put in your body. Have a good one.